Hey there, I'm back. It's been a couple of days since I've done something like a Meet the Creator, and this isn't going to be exactly that. So, slightly different background this time, same room, still in my kitchen. But I thought part of maybe Meet the Creator is maybe get to know the person also. So I thought maybe I should tell you all something about myself. I'm sure you've all figured out my name is obviously Matt or Matthew. Pretty obvious given the name of the channel. Anyways, to get to some things about myself. I guess I should start off with let's see what things get discussions going. Politics. Basically, I'd say a leftist, not extreme leftist, but I'm definitely more liberal. I believe in science. Um, Definitely science over religion. Religion does have its place, but for me, it's a much lower place than science. I'm not sure exactly how or why that came to happen. It may have been 12 years of Catholic education. And during those 12 years, being introduced to comedy, specifically George Carlin, which is where I often, or why I often say, it's all bullshit and it's all bad for you. It's kind of something I learned from George. I'm sure many of you learned similar things. You all have different people or events that have really shaped and changed your lives. So, Catholic school, George Carlin, some other comedians, obviously, my parents, close personal friends, but none of you would know any of them. Maybe a few. Perhaps a few of you watching this are close personal friends or even acquaintances or, as I like to call them, passersby. So, I've been doing this YouTube thing for a couple weeks now. Originally, it started out just to see how hard it would be, and because I have a friend who keeps talking about starting their own YouTube, and they don't have the time to do it. And I understand that because this can be very time consuming, and you have to put a lot of thought and time and energy into doing something even this simple. Believe it or not, it really isn't that simple. And I found that using notes, show notes, and maybe even a script or some semblance of a script can make things easier. However, I'm not using any of those things tonight. Just a as it comes to me kind of thing. I've also noticed that the two types of videos I do, it seems the other ones, what my friend Lauren calls the floating head guy, Mr. Negativity, seems to actually get a couple more likes and views. I'm not sure why. Maybe just because Mr. Negativity says things that other people don't like to say or don't want to say. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing as far as YouTube goes. Maybe some people don't want to subscribe because they don't want to admit to liking Mr. Negativity. Whatever. My original goal was 8 viewers or 8 subscribers. I've reached 10. My next one is 14. I would really like to get to that goal. Although the past week I've not really produced enough, created enough, so I'm stagnant at 10. So I thought maybe something new, something a little bit different. Therefore, this. I'm really not sure where to go with it, but I thought it was worth doing. Just sitting down and talking about myself and sharing. Maybe those things could help build a community. Maybe I have something in common with you. You have something in common with me. Or maybe you just want to know why I am the way I am and what makes me that way. Maybe you want to know why you are the way you are and what's made you that way. Why you've decided to like this. Well, not this exactly, but the Meet the Creator stuff. Or maybe why you prefer the Mr. Negativity, the dark floating head guy. In all honesty, Mr. Negativity is a lot of fun to do. And believe it or not, some of those rants that are only 2 or 3 minutes take 2 to 3 takes to get right, or maybe not right, but at least acceptable. Because those are always just free form. Normally inspired by my friends, things I've talked about with others. They're not always my complaints and my grievances. Sometimes I'm acting on behalf of others who would rather not express how they feel, or maybe they can't at this particular moment. Some of them are at work, and obviously they can't jump on YouTube or Facebook Live or whatever and just go off on a rant right there. They're being paid. If they would do such a thing while being paid, technically it would be theft of time. I know, I never knew what it was till a few years ago. Well, maybe more like 10 years ago, but you know, at a certain point, a few years ago is 10 years ago. I guess for me, that certain point was somewhere in my early 40s. I think I've mentioned this before, but if not, I've been on this beautiful blue-green ball, as Mr. Negativity always refers to it. And I've been here enough times to go around the sun 45 times. And almost to a 46th. Just a few more months away, and 46 successful rotations around the sun. Yeah, just a few years short of half a century. Maybe not super impressive, but hey, it's progress. And even though I may complain and comment about getting old and this hurts and that hurts, I'm fairly confident it beats the alternative. Although I could be wrong. And I've had painful things happen to me personally. The loss of a spouse. And I hope that there is a heaven. But I'm not sure of that. And someday, when my time comes, I'll find out. Some days, that time could come sooner and I'd be fine with that. But most days, even the bad ones, I'm glad to be here. I might moan and complain, but I'm still glad to be here. But there are those days, or those moments of those days, where it would be better to be with my spouse. However, if there is a heaven, I'm sure she's there and she's enjoying herself. And she will keep busy whether I'm there tomorrow, next year, a decade from now, or maybe 2 decades from now, maybe another century from now. Not that I'm really casual about death. I'm just very aware that it's part of life. And I guess I should pass on a little story. Something that maybe helped to get me this way. Something my dad said to me when I was probably about 5 years old, when my grandfather died. I was at the funeral home. It was my first funeral I remember going to. Probably the first funeral I went to. The first 10 years of my life, if I missed a school day, it was normally because of going to a funeral. But I digress. So I'm at my grandfather's funeral. I walk up to the casket. And I tell my dad, there's Pop. My dad looked at me, and I'm not sure if he realized how profound the statement was at the time, but it really was. He said something very close to, that's not Pop. That's just a body God gave him to use for a little bit. And while I'm still not a super religious person. I was probably more so back then. But even now, I find great solace in that. It's just a body that we're given to use for a little while. Whether you're a religious person or not, that makes sense to me. I might also mention that my major heritage, as far as ethnic background or whatever you want to call it, however you want to put it, is German and Irish. And I would say, from my own personal experience, in my family at least, in the Irish side of my family, we definitely celebrate the dead and mourn the living. And so that may be part of why I am the way I am when it comes to death. But let's not get too morbid or too depressed. Because some of you might find death depressing. I look at it as you're done, game over. And game over isn't a bad thing. It's, you've got to the end, you've won, you get the prize. Whatever that it may be, and hopefully does exist. So, I'm not quite sure what to go to next, because as I said earlier, I don't have any notes or any script or anything for this. Just a random thought that I had. Maybe possibly caused by some possible insomnia. Or listening to music and insomnia, but whatever. I thought this could be fun to do, and maybe a way for you all to get to know me. And of course, if you want, there is the comment button, so you can comment and give feedback and say I'm an idiot or agree, whatever you want. I'm trying to go back to politics. Um, I did say that I'm definitely more of a liberal person. Um, I don't want that to instantly mean Democrat. Although for me, I often do vote blue more than red. But my most important thing is, what does that candidate represent, regardless of party? And this is something I will talk about here. Um, but in my Facebook group, I avoid politics and religion because that just leads to way too much infighting. But this is not that. Well, they are somewhat connected, they are separate things. This is specifically for me. The Facebook group, passersby and subscribers of hashtag MattWmBayer, isn't just about me, it's about other local creators or artists. And I don't necessarily mean local to me, just local artists, not big corporate things, not commercialized things. Independent producers, maybe, however you want to put it. Um, and I've actually been lucky enough to talk to a few people that I consider friends or more than acquaintances. And hopefully soon, whenever the current situation lessens some or there's a few less restrictions, I actually do have scheduled some time to talk with a local creator, an artist actually, works with all kinds of media. So that is in the works, and at some point that will be a Meet the Creator, and that's actually with my buddy Ron. Talked to him about it the other day, still trying to figure out when to do it and where to do it. Just for, I hate to say it, but just for general safety issues. Because we're fine. We're both obviously not, we're both virus free. However, we both do have family and friends we care about, and we'd rather just meet somewhere and sit and do it there. It would probably be the best idea, given the current circumstances. Sorry about licking the lips. I am aware of it. My mouth is so extremely dry right now. So, sorry, there's some freeze up moments and some moments, but when you are just doing like stream of thought, that happens. And I've mentioned this so many times, and maybe it's kind of pathetic to say, or maybe it's just a cheap excuse, but when you do have a 3-year-old phone that you use to shoot video on, even though there are some editing tools with this, getting the phone to use them in some kind of timely manner does not happen. I think I've mentioned before that if I do anything much over a 5-minute video, the time just to simply render just about doubles the time of the video. Maybe not quite, and that's just, it is what it is. So that's why a lot of the Mr. Negativities are normally short. I think 6 minutes is the longest one. I guess I could. Oh, other things that have probably shaped how I look at life. And if you're someone around my age, so if you were a kid in like the 70s or 80s, we all do have certain things worldwide that will affect our outlook on life. And I'm happy to say one of mine is Star Wars. Um, Definitely my favorite movies of all time. Uh, and I know that there are different people who feel different ways about Star Wars, even within people who like Star Wars. I'm not saying every movie is great, but overall, I enjoy all the movies. And they have also probably influenced why I am, how I think the way I do. And having a little bit of a college education, I do realize that some of those also go back to Joseph Campbell, who, if you don't know, worked with George Lucas. Actually, George Lucas asked him to come in to go over some plot points and some storytelling methods. Joseph Campbell did write several books. The only one I've ever really read completely through was, I believe, Hero of a Thousand Faces. And that just talks about the commonalities in all storytelling. Um, if you like storytelling and myths, it's a fun book to read. Well, maybe not necessarily fun, but informative, and I found it fun. Um, so I'd also like to thank Joseph Campbell, well, the late Joseph Campbell. Sorry for the pause, trying to find if there's somewhere else I can go with this, or if I should just wrap it up in the next minute or two. I think I'm just gonna wrap this up right about here, and if I have any other revelations or anything that come to me in the next couple minutes, I can just do a part 2 for this. So I will wait and before I title this for sure, and hope you all are having a good, okay, it's after 3 a.m. here, so in the United States it should be Wednesday just about everywhere now, with the exceptions of probably Alaska and Hawaii, but continental United States. So hope you all had a good Monday and Tuesday, and have a good hump day. And I do miss the commercials with the hump day camel. I miss them. They're fun. They really were. So anyways, I've taken up enough of your time for right now. Hope you have a great hump day, and hopefully we'll do another actual Meet the Creator in the next 2 days or so. And for my friend Lauren, I'm sure there will be a little bit of negativity, because I know that she really enjoys the Mr. Negativity voice, especially. Wow, putting these things on can be dangerous. I need to get more experience with it. So anyways, happy Wednesday. Have a great day, and hopefully you'll stop by and check out this and other videos that I have. And if you haven't checked out the other stuff, please do so. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, or a thumbs down if you don't like it. That's cool too. It's all feedback from me. Also subscribe, and most importantly, comment. I do get back to comments normally within 2 hours. Unless I happen to be sleeping, then it's probably going to be closer to 6 or 8. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and like, subscribe, and comment. Have a great one. Bye.